Right, okay, guys. Welcome to another Blimey. It's only now. If I was to say that this guy is probably my most requested guest, I wouldn't be wrong. And I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Dave, Games Animal, King of the Bandanas, Perry. And I'm delighted to see you've got your bandana on today, Dave. Because if you didn't, I'd have been absolutely gutted.
Official duty. Got to wear the bandana when I'm on official duty. It's like the Queen's crown. You see, me got that with that shoulder. Other one. Me and the Queen. Me and her Mad.
Obviously, the bandana became very synonymous with you. It became part of you. Now, am I right in thinking I must have watched either an interview or something where somebody had said to you, "Why don't you put a bandana on, Dave?" And it just kind of stuck. Was that kind of how it came about?
Well, it came about because we were filming Gamesmaster 2, and I decided to grow my hair out. Around about that time, early 90s, we all had the Gaza cut, which was like the real Roman straight fringe.
I had one of these as well.
You know the one I mean? I wanted to grow it out, but I was going through that mid-growing out phase where your hair just looked shit. And I had TV shows to film, and so I started wearing a bandana. This was around the time of the acid raves and everything, and people were wearing bandanas, so I started wearing them. And the director came down the earphone I had on, and he said, "Leave the bandana on. It looks great. Leave it on." So I left it on for the whole filming, and it kind of became synonymous with me. And I always wanted to stand out from the crowd. I always recognised the importance of doing that.
Yeah.
And the bandana gave me that opportunity. You know, it gave me that advantage.
Mm-hmm. So did you become like Bono with the sunglasses? Did you never take it off, or did you take it off when you went to bed?
Now, you see, the lucky thing with the bandana, which is unusual to everyone else, if you like, who is in the public eye, which Z-list I know, but I was for a little while, is that most people, when they don't want to be recognised off duty, they put a hat on. All I had to do was take a hat off.
Yeah.
If I didn't wear the bandana, nobody recognised me. If I put the bandana on, everybody's like, "Oh, you're that guy," you know. So it was kind of annoying and useful.
Yeah. So do you still wear it regular? Do you still wear it as something you like to wear, or is it has it been put in the cupboard and just dug out for things like this?
What should I say? Do people want to believe that I dress like this all the time? I don't know. That's what people want to believe. No, I don't wear it that much anymore. I wear it purely in respect and in tribute to that age of gaming, if you like, because people. That's what people remember, and that's what brings back the memories. The people that watch the TV shows and read the magazines, they remember that guy in the bandana, and to not wear it would be a bit like Alice Cooper turning up and not putting the makeup on one day. You'd feel cheated.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
Obviously a budget Alice Cooper, but it's the same thing. People expect if people want a selfie with you at some retro show, they want the guy in the bandana. They don't want just some guy with a haircut.
Aye, exactly like that. It's like Kiss as well. Kiss with the full makeup on. You see them without the makeup. It's just it doesn't look right. It's not what you remember it to be. Yeah.
Ruined it, didn't it, when they did that?
Yeah. So you hear? I believe you live down in Torquay. Are you born and bred down there, then, Dave?
I'm born in Torquay. My mum and dad weren't from Torquay, but they met in Torquay, so I was born here. But at 18 years of age, I left. The thing with Torquay is it's a nice place to grow up. It's a nice place to raise children because you've got the sea, you've got the beaches, you've got the countryside. Mm-hmm. It can be a little bit more aggro than people realise, but if you want to chase your dreams, you've generally got to leave. Because there's nothing down here, nothing comes this far down south. Do you know what I mean? It's like the Northerners all complain there's nothing going on up north. It's the same if you come too far south. You know, everything happens around about in the middle of the country. Mm. So I wanted to go out and work in magazines and eventually television, and that wasn't going to happen for me sitting in Torquay. So I just had to say goodbye and go out and make things happen for myself.
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit like when you hear it I mean, Scotland's a terrible country. If we get somebody who's Scottish who happens to do really well, like say Snooker Stephen Henry, the Scottish people turn on them, see if you become too successful. And it's like, obviously people, if they want to make it big, you've got to go where it is, and in your case, like London, whatever. As you say, you're never really going to get a lot of work down that neck of the woods. Yeah.
Well, I read John Lydon wrote a great book in the mid '90s. I think it was called No Blacks, No Irish, No something, No Dogs, something like that. And great book. And he describes the working classes as being like a barrel of crabs. And he said everybody's trying to get out of the top of the barrel, but as soon as one almost manages it, all the other crabs want to grab their legs and pull them back down again. And I think that tends to be how people live. But when you're in any sphere of life, if you start doing too well, your peers almost start resenting you for it.
Yeah. Aye, or you'll get this guy, he's changed, money's gone to his head. Look who he's running about with now. But that's just part and parcel of, I suppose, that type of thing, isn't it?
Well, let me tell you my theory on that. I have a theory on that myself as well. That is, I don't think, having met and hung around with some famous people back in the day, and that, I don't think money changes people. I think that's the popular misconception. I think what happens is fame changes the people around the person that's famous, if you know what I mean. Because say you go to your local pub, and you've gone there since you were 18 years of age. Yeah, right, 15, 16. So you go there, and you always have a pint, and you know the old boys at the bar, you know a few families in there. You've gone in there, and no one bats an eyelid. Hi, Dave, no problem. And then you get a little bit of success, and then you go back into that pub. Suddenly, people are intimidated by that success, or they want to go, oh look, that's that guy. Look, oh he was on. So suddenly you realise people are talking about you when you walk in the pub. So that makes you act a little bit differently in the pub. And then you'll always get somebody who's on his last pint, and he's like, so you're going to buy me a drink then? And you wouldn't have asked me that before, but now you're out. And you say no, why would I? And I say, oh, you've changed. Look at you. Who do you think you are? And all of a sudden you're in the middle of something. And it's not you; it's the people around you, because how they perceive you, because they think you're different to how you were. And often you're not.
It's a bit like, I always think, if you were lucky enough to win 10 million in the lottery, I don't think you could really stay in where you stay, for that exact reason. People would think, unless I was to buy everybody every round of drinks, they'd think I'm a tight arse. Or if you do, then you're a show off, so you can't really win.
That's the problem with that kind of thing. It's a real be careful what you wish for scenario, because say you win 10 million in the lottery, you have all that financial freedom initially, but you don't belong anywhere, because people with real money will not accept you, and the people that don't have that money are embarrassed to have you around, because you make them feel bad because you're suddenly driving around in a nice new car that they haven't got. And why has he got it and I haven't? Well, just got lucky. But it's, you actually end up belonging nowhere. And with fame, I think what people are discovering now in these decades is one of the worst things that can happen to a human being, I believe, is to get famous and not get money. And that's happening a lot. You come off celebrity, you come off the Big Brother shows or something like that, and suddenly you're walking down the road or you're on the tube, and everybody knows you. And they hate you from the show, or they want a selfie with you or whatever. But you didn't get rich making that show, because you didn't win the prize money and no one paid you to be on there. And you can't afford security. And suddenly you're getting bothered by people, but you can't afford the security you need. So people need to be careful when they're chasing fame.
So you're not really getting the payoff. You might have the fame, which people think, oh, fame's fantastic. But you're not getting, at least the flip side of that is you've made a bit of cash, and as you say, somebody who gets famous but doesn't make any money, they're getting the pain side of it, and they're not really getting the sort of the payoff type thing.
That's it, because people say, oh well, what do they expect? They're famous. They, the fans made them, the people made them. They own a piece of them. You've got to expect all that fuss, and that's fine as long as you can afford to protect yourself from it. But the people who can't, they're in a bad situation, and there's a lot of that happening because there's a lot of fast food fame going around.
Yeah. But just before we move on to more related topics, my girlfriend actually knows somebody who won, I think it was £2 million on the lottery about 10 years ago, and they're now back working in a supermarket, and they said that they were never as unhappy as they were when they spent the $2 million. It's a bizarre thing.
Well, the thing is, it's never enough, is it? No matter what you win. it seems like a lot at the time, but it's never enough because once you get used to it, you want more.
But if anyone's watching this video and wants to give Dave and I £2 million each, we will put it to the test. Absolutely.
It's worth putting to the test, isn't it? Definitely.
So anyway, listen, Dave. So born and bred in Torquay. What was your very, very first recollection or memory of like a computer or a video game? Was it like an arcade game or something?
Yeah, I mean, computer club in school, obviously, secondary school, where you'd spend night after night after night putting code after code in just so the screen would spell your name out 35 times, and then you'd be so excited that you did it. So there was all that kind of thing. And then, of course, there was the games like Lunar Lander and things like that you could play through those screens. But for me, really, I guess I'll say about the start. I remember my parents buying a Binatone, the old Pong machine. Was
it the bright, the fluorescent orange one?
I think it was. It was that old brown. That old brown. That's what I got in my head.
Oh, the brown colour. Yours was brown, was it?
Yeah.
Ah, you had the posh one. You had the one with the light gun, was it? I think.
Oh yes, well I'm from the south, aren't I? So we
had the expensive one. I had the cheaper one. Yeah.
Wolf and Woolworths. But and I remember when I played ice hockey at the rink, I remember a Space Invaders machine arriving, and that was the first time, we'd seen gaming on that level. It wasn't just pinging a ball backwards and forwards. That was something else, but that all became about how much money you could only play so long.
That was certainly my first recollection of video games. Was I think I saw a Pong machine in an airport once, and I didn't pay much attention to it. But it's when I went to the sports centre and they had the Space Invaders machine. That's when I really realised, wow, this is just like it had gone from purely before that TV was purely it was just something you looked at, and here was this thing where you could actually influence what was on the screen.
Yeah, I mean the thing with the Space Invaders as well, which people sometimes overlook, unless they still go back and play an old Space Invaders machine, or they were there at the time, is it wasn't the game so much, it was the sound.
Yeah.
As a young man, as basically a kid, a teenager, you walk past that box of tricks, and you hear that boom, 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 ka-choo, you were like, what the hell is that? Because you'd only heard that on Star Wars, you never actually saw that in any way that you could affect it, and it was it's just a really deep, throaty sound that made you want to play the game.
Yeah. That was awesome. So, what was the first system you owned? Did your mum and dad buy you a Spectrum or something, or?
Yeah, I think it was. I can't remember. It was a Spectrum or a C64. I mean, me and friends used to swap them around a lot. Used to go around to each other's houses and that. I'm pretty sure it was a Spectrum. But the one I remember, the one I spent the most time on, the big breakthrough machine for me was the Commodore Amiga when that came along. That was a game changer because up to then I wasn't fussed. I hadn't chosen a side. It was Sinclair, Spectrum. I didn't mind really as long as we were playing games. And there was the Atari. My best friend had an Atari cartridge system, so we were mainly playing on that. And then the Amiga came along. And I'd worked hard all summer and got the money and bought myself an Amiga. And next level, the Shadow of the Beast demo that came with the machine, you just sit there and it's just like, you just couldn't, I could play this at home. Brilliant.
Pity the game was absolutely pish, but I mean, it looked and sounded amazing, didn't it?
Oh, the game was shite, yeah, Shadow of the Beast. People talk about hard games. That's one of the hardest games ever. You can get anywhere on the game.
Oh, the thing I always like to say, I can see these guys sitting in the development meeting saying, right guys, we're going to release next week, right, graphics, right, you've done the graphics, sound, yeah, check, gameplay, anyone? Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's not important.
We can't hold it back.
You only need one level. It doesn't matter. That's what we're going to see. Put it on demo.
So, Sensei Soccer, were you a fan of that game?
Yeah, I liked Sensei Soccer. I mean, I'm still a very good friend of John Hare's, and I've talked with him a few times about getting to do things on my YouTube channel and that. And I've travelled around the country a bit back in the 90s promoting Sensei Soccer. Particularly when World of Soccer came out, there's a Games World team in there, and
I remember that.
I tried to get them to put a bandana on.
Did they not?
On the number 8, but they wouldn't do it. No. But I was Kickoff man.
You know what? Funny you should say that. I mean, I remember getting Kickoff, and I did enjoy it. And then I think Sensi Soccer came along. I think it was Amiga Power gave away on a disc that you could play like a 2-minute match. And I gyrated towards Sensi Soccer, and then Kickoff 2 came out. But I always just kind of stuck with Sensi. So you would have played Kickoff over Sensi Soccer. That's
definitely.
Really?
Yeah, where I was coming through and learning my trade, if you like, at intermediates in Sawbridgeworth, we had, obviously Kickoff came out a long time before Sensi Soccer, a good year or so before, anyway. And we had Kickoff 2 leagues going in the office, after work and during work and everything. So we'd invested way too much time in getting good at that game to suddenly abandon it for Sensible Soccer. Do you know what I mean? Because Sensible Soccer was a nice game, but it was a kiddie game, if you like. To a certain extent, it looked that way because the ball stuck to your feet. You were a bit limited tactically in the game, and the players had large heads. I've always had a thing about games where the players' heads are too big. I'm not keen.
I think, you're right. I mean, Sensi Soccer, I think what appealed to a lot of people was and you could be terrible at the game and still enjoy it, whereas Kickoff, unless you really knew what you were doing, it just seemed impossible.
Exactly right. And Sensible was definitely a way more playable game, whereas Kickoff felt like more of a simulation. And to this day, I've not played a better football simulation than Kickoff, in my opinion, because you had the inertia on the ball, you had to trap the ball, you had to turn with the ball. If you stopped, the ball would run away from you. There's still, even in FIFA now, there's still an element of that ball sticking to your feet when you twist and turn. Kickoff, you had none of that. And that made it a bit more pure. You didn't get many high-scoring games.
Yeah. It always annoyed me in like Gamesmaster and things like that. They always went for all the real shit games like Peter Beardsley Soccer or Manchester United Soccer or whatever. They never ever played like Sensi Soccer or Kickoff.
Well, the problem was you had to go for games that looked good on screen. Some games were great to play, but you couldn't follow them very well on screen. Like say, on the first season of Gamesmaster, we played, I think it was the Manchester United game. I think it was Chris Liss or someone made that game, and we played it. But we played it largely because the players were large. You could follow the game on screen. Whereas Kickoff, it was hard, the players looked very weird. It was above, looking right down on the pitch. And you only saw a small section of the pitch at a time. So for the viewers at home that didn't really understand the game, they were struggling to follow it. Whereas the Man United game was shite by comparison, but it looked better.
I kind of get that, yeah. It was more aesthetically pleasing to the viewer, sort of thing. Yeah. So, are you still a gamer now, Dave? Do you still play video games at all now?
I do. I mean, not as much as I used to do. It's like you talk to Chris Eubank or someone like that. He probably still goes to the gym and punches a few bags, but he doesn't train like he used to train. And I used to play constantly. But I still play. Last night I was playing my girlfriend's my daughter's boyfriend, and we were playing FIFA 17 on the PS4, and we've been playing God of War today on PS4.
Oh, nice.
I got to say as well, I'd like to pretend I was more pure than this, but I play War Dragons on my iPad as well, on my tablet. I like the game, and it's it just eats my money, and I wish I didn't play it, but it's like crack.
So who won? Did you kick his ass at football?
No, he's very, very good. He's very, very good. And the thing is, FIFA, I don't play it very much. Now I play it as and when because I like football, so I just enjoy playing it. It's a great football simulation. But I'm not so good at it anymore. So every time I come back and play it, I've not got the motor memory in my hands anymore. So I'm still having to think about what the button is, but you lose that second.
That's what puts me off all these modern games, unless you're playing them constantly. If you take it, I kind of get bored very easily with games. I get stuck and I go away for it, and I go back 6 months later, and you've got to learn it all over again. So I do prefer. I've still got a lot of systems. You can probably see a few of my systems in the back, the Vectrex and that kind of stuff. Still got a massive collection of things, and I do enjoy playing the older games. Have you still got a collection, or did you? I know you moved house. I was going to say recently, about a year ago.
moved house about 5 years ago, and I decided at that time that I was done with gaming and games. When I walked off Games World Season 4 halfway through, I say walked off, I told them I wanted to leave, and they let me out of my contract. And I was done with the games industry. I came back down to Exeter, to the southwest, because my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, was expecting a child, and I didn't want to miss the baby with filming and everything. So I deliberately moved away from gaming, and when I set up my own publishing company, I ran a movie magazine instead. I edited DVD Monthly for 7 years, because I would just play games for playing games, because for years I was playing games to be challenged on them, because I was traveling all over the country and I was always promoting this game, promoting that game. I couldn't sit down and play, say, an Age of Empires or a Command and Conquer or a Football Manager, because they would take up too much of my time that I needed to spend practicing beat-em-ups or NBA Jam or something. So when we moved house, we'd been in that house for 16 years, and I thought, well, I'm done with it. My whole game collection is sat here. It never gets used much anymore. A lot of collectors have been asking me about selling things, and so I sold a lot. You know, I sold a lot of the rare stuff. Sold my golden joystick from Gamesmaster. I sold my Games World coats, and I was just moving on. And I wish I'd kept my Amiga. That's the one thing I wish I'd kept.
You got rid of the Amiga? Oh, seriously? Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. I've got a nice 1200 there with a wee CF. I've got all the games in it. It's rather nice. I mean, I use, you know, obviously I've got like yourself, I've got a YouTube channel. I do a lot of kind of gameplay videos and whatever it is, and I tend to use emulation. But when I actually want to play a game for proper, I would much rather sit in front of an Amiga with a proper joystick, whatever, you know. Than
you're not playing an Amiga unless you can hear that floppy disk grinding.
And wait 10 minutes for it to load. I know. So
yeah, don't worry every time you put it in. Is it going to work this time, or is this the time it stops working? Yeah.
So do you ever get any? I mean, do you ever play any of the old classic systems like Mega Drive or SNES or that at all? Do you use emulation or anything?
Yeah, I got SNES and Mega Drive. I still play. A couple of years ago, I got myself a PlayStation again. I went back to PlayStation 1.
How do you find the PlayStation 1? Because I was a massive fan of it, like most people. But I look at it now and I just think it's because it was the first kind of generation of sort of polygon graphics. I mean, we went from like obviously the Commodore Amiga, then I think I was at a Voodoo cards or something for my PC, but being able to play Ridge Racer on what was a big TV back then, a 30-inch TV, just blew my head like most people. But looking at it now, other than Ridge Racer, I can't bring myself to play the PlayStation. I just think it's...
Well, I felt a loss because I thought it was a great machine. I loved it, and basically after 18 years away, I always said I'd possibly go back to gaming once my daughter was 18, and I was asked to go and do Retro Revival show.
And Chris Wilkins, yeah.
Yeah, with Craig Turner, Chris Wilkins, and I've always said no to everything, to every show, to every convention. But Craig was clever. Craig knew I'd always wanted a Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet. Always my thing, right from my magazine days. And he promised to get me a Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet if I did that show. So I agreed to do the show. So I went and did the show, and I did a seminar talk. And then I had some lunch, and I thought, I'll go on stage and I'll do a challenge, because everybody was so nice. Everybody was so pleased to see me posing for selfies and that kind of thing. Yeah. And that was new to me, because at the end of my professional life in the games industry, the first time round, if you like, all I was facing was animosity generally. You know, people who had enough of me, the bragging character, the ego. People, I guess I was selling it too well. People were believing it too much, and I just felt that the industry was done with me. But this time, they seemed glad to have me back. And while I was there, I was looking around at all the collectibles. And I just wanted to play PlayStation again. I really did, because one of my all-time favorite games still is definitely Wipeout. And I still love the original Ridge Racer that came right at the start of it, because it It was just a great, pure, going back to Sense and Soccer being a game you just pick up and play. Those games were just pure games. You could just play them and race them. But I brought it home, got the software, put it in, looking forward to having this great walk down memory lane, put it in my big 52-inch telly or whatever it is we've all got these days, shot towards the corner, smashed into the corner. Couldn't judge it at all because of the frame rate difference now. The corner just came up like a big bunch of square blobs. Do you know what I mean? I remembered it being really slick and smooth looking when I used to play, and now it was just like everything was too polygonized. You know, everything was just I just couldn't judge the corner anymore. So it took me a long while to get rid of that, to get used to that again.
Yeah, I think you really want to get. I was lucky enough. I moved house a couple of years ago, and I managed to get myself on Gumtree a 32-inch Sony, is it Trinitron? I think that was like the dog's bollocks of CRTs. It's great, obviously, yeah.
I got a couple of Sony CRTs now back at my studio, and the PlayStation is locked up to that now. And now it looks like it was supposed to look. But it didn't work on the... I was so excited I was going to play PlayStation again on a big... Yeah, this time on a big screen, because before I used to always play on like a little dedicated Philips monitor. And no. No, not the TV's not built for the PlayStation or vice versa.
So see if you're playing like a SNES, is it just in your PC with an emulator?
No, I still play it all through the big telly or through the CRTVs at the studio.
What do you use then? Have you got a SNES and a Mega Drive then, or what do you use?
I've got SNES and Mega Drive, but I use an emulator as well because obviously you don't have all the software. You can't play everything you want to play. So from time to time. I'm never sure the legality of emulators. People seem to turn a blind eye to them these days. But
yeah, I think so.
It's a way to look back.
Seriously, think about it. Have you heard of the Raspberry Pi? You've heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you can get a thing called RetroPie. I mean, it's wonderful. You can download it off the net, and it's basically these clever people have put together like 120 gigs worth of like 10,000 games across every system, MAME, everything. If you do get your one, give me a shout and I can give you an SD card with it on it.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's probably for somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, B doesn't have a lot of space. They don't want all the pissing about with real hardware. A Raspberry Pi with an Xbox 360 controller, you've got all the systems on your big TV and it looks glorious.
Excellent.
So I'll give you the details later on. So
yes,
anyway. Yeah, good stuff. So at what point when you were growing up, Dave, what was your kind of aspirations as a child when you were leaving school? What did you want to be?
I wanted to be the guitarist in a goth rock band, but I wasn't very good.
Did you play the guitar then, yeah?
Yes.
So I'm trying to learn that, not very well enough.
Yeah, and then I went back to art school. And my roommate at art school was a better guitarist than I was, so I became a bass player. I think that's how bass players start.
Then you become a drummer.
But no, I wanted to do something with my art because I'd always been able to draw from the time, as far back as I can remember. I carried pencils and pens around with me. But I also really, really wanted to be famous. I just didn't know how
to be famous, really. Yeah.
I just didn't know how to be famous. I wanted to be a guitarist, and I wasn't very good at that. And then I played ice hockey in the British League, but you don't get famous playing ice hockey. I played football, but I was short, so that took a long while to find a place doing that. I wasn't good enough to be famous at anything. And then games came along, and I became really good at games. Really good.
Mm-hmm. We'll touch on that in a wee bit. I've heard in another interview you did, I think it was, you first kind of got involved when, was it writing reviews for Special Reserve or something magazine?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I was always good at English and writing, and so I started off writing reviews for magazines, sending reviews off and getting my reviews published and that. To see my name put in print, you know, it's the whole want to be famous thing, I guess. Then I got the Amiga, and the main reason for buying the Amiga at the time is because it had the best desktop publishing software on it of all the home computers. It was completely shite, but it was the best around. So I played more and more games. I forget the desktop publishing. I played games, and then the whole Macintosh was coming around. The Mac SE was around at that time. I think it had just arrived. And I remember when we were at art school, we had to log in for 30 minutes on the thing because we only had like 2 of them in the whole college. And so desktop publishing was coming along. So I started doing design and working for a chap in my local area, and he converted an old bus, like a Devon General bus, a single-decker bus, and put beds in it and a generator. We travelled around with the fairgrounds and the circus people and things like that, and we stayed behind the events with them, you know, with their Winnebagos and everything. And I would do all the signs and all the designs for them while playing games in my spare time and taking part in gaming competitions and things. And then to get my software nice and cheap, I joined the Special Reserve Mail Order Club, Intermediate Mail Order Club. That's what we all did. There was no internet back then. If you wanted to get the latest games, you either waited for your shop to get hold of them, or you joined a mail order club. So I joined them, and I started getting subscriber magazines come through. And my ego being what it was as a young man, I thought I could do it better. So I told them. So they invited me to come in. So I went in and I got a deputy editor's job writing on the magazine that I was subscribing to. And then within a year, I was the publishing manager for them. And then I got a tip-off that Hewland were thinking of launching the country's first video game TV show, and would I be interested in being involved with that? So I took a pay cut and signed up for that. You know, it was a limited contract; it was less money, but I saw the opportunity. You know, these things go by in a blink of an eye unless you grab them.
So you actually went from Special Reserve like to Gamesmaster, presumably.
Yes.
Right, so that's nice. That's. I mean, did they approach you then? You were saying, Dave, yeah.
Yes. Because I was indirectly because I was writing for the magazines and publishing manager for Special Reserve, who were the biggest mail order company in Europe. So all the soft codes knew everybody at Special Reserve, you know, because they wanted to get their software featured in the magazines. They wanted to get Special Reserve to buy bulk orders of their software when it came out, because we were shifting big numbers. So I was in contact constantly with the PR departments and that of these companies, and I guess they knew me and liked my hustle. And when Hewland was looking around for people and asking who these people would recommend, my name came up over and over again. So Hewland told me there was a job going, and I went down to Canary Wharf for an interview.
Yeah, the funny thing was, so what were you in Gamesmaster from the very beginning again then, Dave? I'm trying to remember.
Oh yeah.
Aye.
Yeah,
the thing was, I mean, like everybody, I was, you know, Gamesmaster was the only, we took, this was before the internet, so anything that featured games, we were, you know, was it a Thursday at 6 o'clock it was on? I can't remember exactly.
I think it was, yeah.
But I remember seeing you in Gamesmaster, and I think, like, I knew you at that point. I recognised you, so I don't. Maybe I'm talking complete bollocks. If you're saying that you went from, because obviously your picture wasn't in Special Reserve, I somehow had it in my head that you had done a lot of writing for games magazines, then you went to Gamesmaster. So you actually, it was the other way around then.
Well, I was writing freelance for games magazines as well, but I was employed by Special Reserve. That was where I actually learned about working on a team and, you know, deadlines and all that kind of thing. But I was a freelancer up to that point.
So you
and then I went to Paragon Publishing then, and we launched Sega. We did Sega Pro Paragon, so I was doing that as well.
Right. So what was your first magazine you actually? Were you still working for Special Reserve when you were working on magazines then?
Special Reserve, yeah. After I left Special Reserve, I went to. I wasn't working properly for a publisher until I joined Paragon. I went from Special Reserve to Gamesmaster. Gamesmaster was about a 6-month contract, and then I went to Paragon, and Paragon was my first proper publisher that I worked at 5 days a week. Up to then it was just writing reviews.
I see, right. Did you get involved in Gamesmaster magazine at all?
No.
You weren't, yeah, because I've
that was Future Publishing, and we were Paragon. And video games magazine companies and magazine teams are very tribal. You're in competition with them all the time, and I'd like to say it's love hate. It's pretty much hey. It was back then.
So obviously, you know, this was before the internet and video game magazines. It was pretty much the only way that, you know, as a consumer, you knew what you were buying, unless your mate told you the game was shite or good, whatever. Or sometimes you would look at the back of the tape and you'd buy it, and then you get home and then realise it was absolute crap. I'm looking at you, Street Fighter for the Amiga. That was 24 quid. I'll never ever get back again. Were you guys aware of like the influence that you actually had, not so much over consumers, but the influence you had over consumers, and the fact that your words could effectively make or break a game, couldn't it?
We became more aware of that as time went on. But initially, the games industry, the games magazine industry, we were just all keen enthusiasts. We were just excited to be being paid to play games, being paid to write about games, and being paid to have our name, to have that influence over people, to be trusted with that, and to get loads of free stuff. You're like you're saying, 20 odd pound a game, 30 odd pound a game, and they just be pouring through our letterbox. You know, we'd be getting them for free and playing them, and we were just buzzed to be in the games industry. What people forget, what people don't realise, or they probably realise now, some of them, but they're never given it credit for, is that the arrival of the video games console, if you like, from Mega Drive, go back to Amiga ST and forwards, it was probably the biggest youth culture phenomena in history. Since rock and roll. I mean, the internet maybe now, the internet now has changed the way we live completely. So, okay, but at that point, since Elvis Presley played Heartbreak Hotel, nothing had come along that had changed the face of youth culture more than video gaming did at the start of the 90s. Yet we were seen as nerds, and we were nerds. Most people were nerds, and they were operating from their bedrooms, millionaires from your bedrooms, and all that kind of thing. But it was very underground. It was massively influential, and the thing is, I grew up late 70s. I grew up in the punk era. I remember what the Sex Pistols did to rock and roll, what they did to the dinosaur bands, the Pink Floyds, and the Eagles in Chicago, and bands like that. They were a hand grenade into youth culture. Boom! And the parents, the adults, were scared shitless of them because they didn't understand them, and their kids were freaking out listening to the Banshees and the Clash and the Pistols, and the parents didn't understand the music, and they were frightened by it. Okay, and the games industry was the same, because all of a sudden the kids had something, once again, that they were addicted to and passionate about, that their parents couldn't understand. Just like in the 50s with Elvis Presley when he came along, they couldn't understand it, and it was dangerous to them. And as a result, it was very hard for us to get much going in TV world, because all the people running TV land were parents. They didn't understand. They didn't believe in the games industry. All these kids are playing these stupid games in their bedrooms. Why would you want to make a TV show about that?
Mm-hmm. And then they stuck it on, like, at what time was, like, the most obscure channel? 6 o'clock on Channel 4. Nobody's going to watch it. And they probably had no idea what it was about.
The thing is, Channel 4 was the least respected channel, if you like. Maybe BBC Two. BBC Two was seen as an old person's channel, really. Yeah. But Channel 4 did have that edge about it. It was where the controversial stuff went, Euro trash and all that sort of thing, and the tube.
The red triangle films that you used to watch when your mum and dad went to bed. yeah. So, excuse me. So did you ever hold back giving a bad review on a game because you knew that it was potentially going to, not sell and potentially affect somebody's job, or were you always 100% honest?
Well, this is the game. This is what happened in the games industry. As was, I can't comment as now because I don't operate in it anymore. But as was, there were tons and tons of soft codes and publishers, and they all had PR people and marketing people. And their job was to be our best friends And our jobs for our publishers was to be their best friend, because we need the exclusives, we needed the software, we needed the advertising revenue, they needed our review scores, they needed the front covers, they needed the number of pages in the magazine. So there's kind of this, and you do get genuine friendships. There's people today that I still keep in touch with from those days. But generally there's a lot of fake friendships in there as well, because it's a business relationship. And they would take us all over the world, really. Take us to great events, buy us tickets to see, Oasis at Main Road, or take us to Las Vegas to meet Westwood Studios, or take us to to play for us to stay in a hotel in London to go to a show, or film premieres. We get all these treats and all these perks. I mean, one company, I'm not saying any names, because it was a nice gesture, but they had a football game coming out, and they knew we had a company five-a-side team, so they bought all our shirts. They put our names and numbers on the back, and they just arrived. They didn't tell us they were coming, but they had the game's football badge on the front. Very clever, So, like you say, when you actually get around to reviewing that game, and you've had 2 or 3 dinners with these people, and you've been out to a strip bar and had a few beers with them, and suddenly you know that their boss is relying on them getting a good score for the game, you do feel a certain pressure not to be a wanker. But you've also got a responsibility to your readership. So it can be difficult, but personally I've always tried to be honest with the readership.
Yeah, so was there ever any games, without giving too much away, that you felt you maybe gave it a better score than it possibly deserved, just because you felt, I can't do that to these guys?
I've never done that. I've never done that because I've been bought off, if you like. But I've done that sometimes because I know a game's a good game, but I just don't like it. Do you know what I mean? A game comes out.
It's a bad game. It's just not a game that you like.
You're playing it, and you're like, I'm not fucking enjoying this. I don't like this game. This is shit. But I know that for the genre it is, and what it says it's supposed to do, it's doing a bloody good job of it. It's just that I wouldn't play this game. So sometimes you just have to modify your opinion a little bit. Unless you're playing out that persona where you're being the arsehole, the other 2 reviewers in the team are giving it good scores, and they're having a go. They're able to chip at you because you're giving it a bad score. And sometimes you can set up that kind of. It makes it more fun for the readers to read. And you maintain a certain honesty as well.
But it's going to have an overall balance to being good. So you saying it's crap review isn't going to kind of. It's going to. The 2 good reviews is going to overshadow your bad review, if that makes any sense.
I always say beware of any game that scores between 80 to 82%.
Why is that?
Because that game's got splinters up its arse from the reviewer sitting on a fence. Do you know what I mean? That's just 80 to 82% is somebody hedging their bets. They're not saying it's shit, but they're not saying go and buy it either. There's a hidden message in 80 to 82% in any magazine.
That knowledge would have been handy about 30 years ago, but anyway, I'll let that one go there. So, see, did you get to pick what games? And obviously, you were an editor for a lot of magazines. Did you still do reviews, Dave? And did you get to pick? Did you say, "I'll have that game, thanks very much," or were people allocated? I mean, I'm not a beat 'em up fan. I do like beat 'em ups, so I can't play them for toffee. So giving me a beat 'em up would be the wrong thing to do, because I'd probably give it a poor review. Whereas, in somebody else's hands, like yourself or whatever, you would give it a good score. So were people allocated games to review based on what they enjoyed, or?
Yeah. Usually you'd have specialists. You'd have people that like certain games. I've played the history of the game going back. They played previous versions of the games. They know the developers, they know the software people, whatever. So sometimes you would give them the games because they genuinely want to review those games. Sometimes if a really big game comes in, you grab it for yourself because you really want to play that game first. But generally, as magazines went on, most reviews would have 2 or 3 reviewers commenting on it anyway, so everyone would have a chance to play it. But it's just who wrote the main body of the review. Generally, you would hand it to the person with the best knowledge.
Yeah. Rainbow Islands on the Amiga is meant to be rated the #1 Amiga game. I can't stand the game. What about yourself?
Oh, same. I've never been a platform fan. Never been a platformer fan. The only platform I've ever really loved was Gods by the Bitmaps. But apart from that, I'm not a Rainbow Island. Kiwi,
the
Fury and all that. I did at one point get addicted to Kid Chameleon on the Mega Drive. That was very good. But after about 6-7 hours of playing it, it just wouldn't end. So that got bored of that.
Yeah, I did a video with one of my sort of mates, and it was 10 games that you think are amazing that are actually shit. And again, I did put down, look, this is just my opinion. Please don't, hate me for it. And I had like Uridium on the C64, too difficult, it's a memory game. Paradroid, not a fan of it. Rainbow Islands, and you ought to see the hate that I had. I just like, I personally don't like these games, but you ask another 99 people and they'll say they're the best games ever.
It's your opinion, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Whether you enjoy it or not. So you kind of touched on it, Dave, so were you ever actually offered cash or girls or whatever or anything else to give a good review?
Yes.
Really? Yeah. So that did go on.
Of course.
That did go on. Yeah.
Of course, we were young guys on minimum wages. There's a big world out there, and these guys have budgets. They need covers. They need scores. Occasionally, you'd be offered things. I know people who are offered things. Got some incredible things, like, nice guitars, things like that. Off people. It depends on what relationship you have with the softcodes and how much they think they can get away with. Because obviously they're not just going to walk around doing that left, right, and centre. They're going to be certain. So it doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen. I mean, at the end of the day, it depends on how honest you are, and how your ethics are. Because it's a score that next month. It'll have been forgotten. Do you take something or not? I never personally did.
Just before we kind of came on air, I was looking through your channel and I was watching. It was your QVC appearance and you had your review, and it was a bizarre thing you actually have. Was it Microprose Formula 1 Grand Prix with Jeff Crammond? And you didn't have your bandana on, by the way.
No.
But I think you did actually say that you only agreed to go into that if you could actually say this is shit or this is good.
Yeah. It was very odd. It was QVC was like I said, I gave up Games World in '98 because I thought they were ruining the show, so I was done with that. And I wanted to go back and raise my daughter. So I didn't really want to do any more with the show. So I walked away from the games industry. I worked for Rappy for a couple more years on their magazines. And then '99 they went down. And I set up my own publishing company and set up the movie magazine. And then I got offered, a few offers from QVC over the years to go and do technology reviews for them on their shows. And I proposed to my wife, and we were going to get married in 2002. And I had no idea how expensive a wedding was. Then I found out. So then I took QVC up on their offer,
to pay for that,
and I did every month I did a couple of 24-hour specials for them, where you could start one night and go the other. You have a bed in the dressing room, and I did that for them, and they paid incredibly well. And I paid for my wedding by doing a year of that. Didn't wear the bandana, like you said, because I was done with the games industry. And I did DVD players, I did televisions, I did hi-fi systems. Anything technology based, they needed somebody on, they called me in. So I did all that for a year and paid for my wedding. So it was unusual times.
Yeah. Did you actually enjoy doing it, or did you do it purely sort of for the money?
I did it for the money.
Yeah.
But it was enjoyable. It was okay. It was an eye opener. It was because it's a very, very different way of working QVC. The funny thing with QVC is when I was there, nearly all the presenters that were working for QVC wanted to work on television. Not QVC, they wanted to be on their own show. They were using QVC as kind of a stepping stone to get their own shows and do their own television. I'd come from television and was now doing QVC. So I was going at a different angle, and I was saying to them all, look, you're getting paid way better doing QVC than you'll get on a lot of TV shows. You've got to be very careful about what you wish for. The thing with QVC, apart from the fact that most people working on it are orange, was that it was a very weird environment because say you do Games World or get a Gamesmaster or the Net or Scratchy and Co, any of those TV shows I used to work on. So you do those and you go out, you do your bit and you muck about a bit, and you've done your research and you flash a smile and everything's okay, it's done. And then you go home and you go for a beer or something. With QVC, you go out there and you do your bit, you've done your research, but you have to be very particular. You have to know everything about this piece of kit because phone calls are coming in and everything. And you do your bit, you go out and you go to the green room. You don't leave because you're back on in a couple of hours. And in the green room there are TVs, and on those TVs it tells you every phone call waiting, every phone call that's been made, what's been purchased, who's being talked to at the moment, etc. And your performance is rated by how many units are being shifted when you call. And people are sat there biting their nails almost like it's the stock exchange because people have paid a certain amount of money to have their products featured on QVC and they need to get their money back. And you know, the presenters that have been on before you or the special guests that have been on before you, they're sat there looking at the figures as well. It's quite nervy. It's quite nerving.
You kind of live or die based on how many sales you actually get at the end of the day. Then, yeah.
Yeah, very different way of working. Not about how good you are, or how good you look, or how much you make people laugh. It's purely about how you engage with the market, really, and how many the consumers call up.
Thing is, it'd be completely different. It would be all your grannies with your blue rinse that would sit and watch QVC. Guys like ourselves would never. I would rather slit my own throat than watch QVC.
But the funny thing is, a lot of the presenters and that have fan clubs, and these people, they have regular callers that call up to talk to them. It's an eye opener, definitely.
Bet you paid for your wedding, you know, so it's all good.
Absolutely, not married without any debt.
Yeah.
the only part of my marriage that hasn't involved debt.
Yeah, we'll move swiftly on. You've already mentioned your relationship with other magazines. Did you have much kind of interaction with other magazine people at all?
Yeah, quite a lot. You know, because you can't avoid. Say, I'm not going to use a company's name, but say a company decides they're going to take us to Spain to meet the developer of their new game and put us all up in a hotel. They aren't just going to invite the one publishing house. They're going to invite so-and-so from EMAP, so-and-so from Future, so-and-so from Dennis, so-and-so from Impact, you know. So you turn up at the airport and there's all these people who, in the early days, you hardly know, who basically, you know, in your head have always been the competition and the enemies and that. And you're all off on a jolly together and somehow you've got to kind of bond and have a good time and get on together. So you naturally meet people who you get on with and meet people who you don't get on with. And there's a fair bit of crossover as well. You know, one publisher will poach another publisher's editor or designer, and you know, and when they come, they'll bring their friends. So sometimes there's a fair bit of crossover.
Did you go to many? I mean, obviously, gaming shows were a big thing in the sort of 80s. Did you go to many of them as a kid at all? Any of the big PCW shows down in, was it Earl's Court, I think it was?
We used to go to. I used to go to all the ECTS shows. Yeah, they were at Olympia, and then of course out to America regularly for what used to be called CES, which is now E3. That used to be in Chicago and LA, and it's been in LA and Atlanta and loads of places since. So those shows, yeah. But I mean, ECTS was always the big one.
That must have been pretty good. It must have been amazing going across to, like, was it Chicago you said? Was it?
Yeah.
That must have been pretty cool.
It was incredible, you know, especially like like I say, we're small town boys, a lot of us. We're earning a lot of money, you know. America was a major treat. It was beyond our imaginations in some respects, especially because when you're over there, generally you're on someone else's dollar, so literally. So, you know, they're paying for everything. So you get a brief glimpse of a lifestyle that you don't have back home.
Yeah.
And the girls. Oh. American girls. I mean, yeah, the whole service industry over there is so far ahead of the UK, you know.
Sorry, I'm going to ask you about the Oasis story later on, but we'll get to that later What magazine, you know, and obviously you did go into you moved away from kind of games magazines, it became more kind of cosmopolitan, kind of lads, FHM type thing. What was your favourite magazine to work on, and why?
My favourite magazine to work on, undoubtedly, was Games World magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it was, we'd sat at Paragon and we'd watched the Gamesmaster license that Future had purchased do so well. I mean, it broke records. Its debut issue just went through the roof. And we didn't have a multi-format magazine at Paragon, so we definitely needed one. And I had the in because I worked at Gamesmaster and Games World. So we went upstairs and we went up to London, and we signed up the license for Games World and brought it back and started working on it. For a start off, it was multi-format, which is always exciting because you get to play everything.
Yeah.
And secondly, the publishers gave me carte blanche to pick my theme. So I got given a whole new office, which we painted out. We had our own office. And then I picked my own team. I picked various members of other publishers' teams, people from the TV world. And I put together just the three writers and the designer I wanted to make the magazine I wanted. So I was kind of the king of my own little universe on that magazine, and they were all my own decisions, so there was no moaning, and it was great fun, and those were great times. I mean, we're talking about 93, 94, and what a great time for gaming. I mean, everything was just exploding.
Yeah, I can only imagine how difficult it must have been actually putting together a magazine back then, because this was obviously way before you've got the technology nowadays, eh?
Yeah.
What sort of systems did you use for like doing all your editing and that kind of stuff? And did you literally like cut bits of paper out and overlay it, or had things moved on a wee bit at that point?
No, it was all Macintosh, so it was a lot better by then. There's no internet, of course, so you know, if you wanted something on a new game, say there was a new game coming out from Virgin, and you needed some screenshots, they couldn't email them to you. They couldn't put them on the cloud. They couldn't. You couldn't go onto YouTube and see some corporate video movie. You had nothing. You had to phone up the PR person. Hope you caught them on a good day. Hope they had some materials on their desk, because obviously they might not have it either. You know, they might have only been sent 2 press kits, and one's at FHM magazine and the other one's over at EMAP or something, and you know, and if they know you want it, they're going to drag their heels sending it back, because they, you know, the PR company phones up and says, "Oh, Paragon want it." The publishers down there are going to think, you know, well, yeah, okay, but we're in no rush. So you had to really work hard to get the materials together for things. You know, you were waiting for the post every single day, and people producing magazines and writing now, I've got no idea. I mean, when we set up Sega Pro and Console Access, and there's other magazines in the early days of Paragon in '92 from Trowbridge, we would work on a Macintosh, I think it was an LC, I think they were called, and we'd work on SideQuest discs, which were memory discs, big square memory discs, and they would take, I think if I remember rightly, around 45 megabytes of information on one of these big discs. And so you'd have to make sure that your page spread, one page spread, fitted on this SideQuest with all its pictures and all its data and everything. Everything all had to be in the folders on that SideQuest. And so we'd have about 10 of those. So we try to get about 8 spreads, 10 spreads done in a day, written, grabbed, because you had to grab the images off the computer, off the console, because there was no internet, no one was sending you this stuff. And then you design it. And then what would happen is I'd work usually till about 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, get all the SideQuests, put them in a bag. I'd drive home past the repro house, put the SideQuests through the door of the repro house at 4 in the morning. I'd go home, sleep on the floor upstairs in a shared accommodation, get up around 11, get back to work about 11 o'clock the next day, via the repro house, and of course they'd have made all the film. Nothing was sent digitally. You actually had CMYK, four sheets of acetate film.
Yeah.
Those were your pages, and then you had to look at them to make sure you would have a printout to make sure everything you you thought you'd designed was actually on the page, and the page number was correct and everything. Mark it off on your flat plan. That one's done. That one gets filed. And every day it was like that. It was a massive, massive undertaking.
Yeah. I think as a consumer, you just somehow had it in your head that all you guys are just sitting getting paid to all this money to play games, and it was just going to automatically come together. But you tend to forget that the actual writing of the content was only one little part of the whole sort of thing. Eh?
Yeah, I mean that's what you're describing now is what happens now, isn't it? Some guy sits at their desk, writes up an interview, a few screenshots, send, up it goes, up the old interweb, on the line, and it's there, isn't it? It's published, and off they go move on to something else. It's also quick and transient, and it's taken, for my money, it's taken the buzz out of things. Yeah, things are always more enjoyable when they're hard, as it were. Dominic Diamond would love that one.
One of the sort of features that I do, I've got a lot of like magazines, PDF magazines, and one of the things I do is I just look at it and I just read it and I talk over it, and people seem to, I've got some cheesy 80s music playing in the background and people seem to enjoy it. One thing that really, I can't actually remember, I think I looked at it was at CU Amiga a couple of weeks ago, and it was like 230 pages, and I think 170 of them were adverts.
Yeah.
Like advert, especially once you got past sort of midway, it's just advert. And I wouldn't say 99%, but the early magazines, there was so much black and white, but I don't remember it being black and white. Some of the early Zap magazines were black and white, and I don't remember that.
The thing is as well is that you see the adverts now when you look back.
Yeah.
But at the time you didn't, because the adverts were as exciting as the reviews. Because you had nowhere else to get the information. There was no TV shows, there was no internet, there's no YouTube, no Instagram, no Facebook. None of these places, none of these news services existed. The mainstream news, the mainstream media wouldn't cover video games. The only place you could find out anything about video games or how anything looked was in a magazine. So if an advert meant you had one or two more screenshots than you'd got on the pages, you were glad to read the advert.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Yeah, obviously it's null and void now, adverts, but yeah, that's totally true. One of the interesting things, I've told this to a few mates before, I was looking at a PC magazine, it was something like Your Computer or something, it was like 1982, and I shit you not, there was I think it was a 30 meg hard disk. Now this was, or maybe it was 79 or something, it was a 30 meg hard disk, and it was £3,000. For a 30 meg hard disk. Now, if you equate, at the end of the Google, you can get like a 2 terabyte drive on Amazon for 70 quid. It actually worked out that 2 terabyte drive, I think it worked out that it was like, I can't remember what it was, but I worked it out, a 30 meg costing 3,000 and then a 2 terabyte costing 70 quid. That 2 terabyte drive would have cost, I think it was £32 million back in 1982. And the 32 megabyte hard disk was going to cost, was something like, nowadays it would cost like 0.001 of a pence. Just insane. And the thing for me out of any technology is you can get an SD card which is smaller than my fingernail and it can hold my entire collection of video games. Yeah. That just blows my mind.
Oh yeah, it does make. How did things get so big? Do you know what I mean? That you used to buy, say, a game, Secret of Monkey Island, something like that. You get it on like 7 or 8 floppy disks. You know what I mean? And that would seem huge, but now you can fit. You can put that on a keyring. A little bit of memory, a little memory card, and a keyring could play that game for you. Yeah, you get another game, on Xbox or something.
60 gig or something.
It's just some huge amount of memory, and it's like, but it's not necessarily that much more playable. It's graphics of that. Why is a photograph now 2 gigabytes or something? You know what I mean? It's just I've got photographs from back in the day. They're like 105k, and they'll go up as big. They're usable. It's not the millions of pixels in there, but why did everything get so big? I'm sure it doesn't have to be. I don't know. I'm obviously getting old.
It's like I was in the recent Black Friday sale. My girlfriend had just got a new TV, I had a 42-inch plasma, which is sitting over there. It's about 20 years old, and she had got this TV, and I thought, that is nice. I mean, the clarity in this Samsung TV, it was like, we were watching, I think it was Night in the Museum or something with Ricky Gervais, and it was like so sharp, it looked like you were literally on set with him. So I ended up buying a £300 55-inch Toshiba, really, really nice. And I was doing it at my mate's house, well, I was going to say a couple of weeks ago, obviously it wasn't a couple of weeks ago, it was before the COVID thing kicked in. And I went into his kind of games room thing, and I says, what's happened to the big TV? You've got a wee TV. He goes, that is the big TV. I goes, no, it's tiny. He went, that is the big TV. And I'm like, bloody hell. Because my 55-inch has now shrunk, and it now looks like a 32-inch telly.
Yeah. No, I remember when I first bought myself a 32-inch telly, I felt like I had a cinema in my house. Do you know what I mean? We all had 24 inches at best, and to get a 32 inch. It was, and the back of the thing was colossal, but it was.
Have you ever tried to carry a 32-inch CRT up a flight of stairs on your own?
Horrible.
Bloody hell. Anyway, yeah. So obviously you eventually became known. I mean, as I said, I thought that you had done the magazines before Gamesmaster, but you're obviously, you know better than I do. So your first TV appearance was that in Gamesmaster then, Dave? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That was the first one. Obviously, that's the one most people know you by. I mean, my mum and dad refused to give me Sky Television, so I never ever got to see Games World till fairly recently. And I don't think I was missing very much. Was it? What was Games World like? Was it a daily program or something? Was it?
Games World was quite revolutionary because it was 26 weeks contract. So I mean, half a year at a time, 5 shows a week, 6 o'clock every night on Sky One. That was the prime slot on Sky One, and 5 nights a week. That's a lot of programming to fill, and the challenge that Hewland had with that one was what to put in all those slots, that was different from each night. So that each show on each day had a different feel, had a whole different identity to the last day's show. So the whole thing didn't get stale. It was brave.
Yeah. So that was how long were you in that for then? Games World.
Well, Games World. When I finished my contract on Gamesmaster, the initial series after we'd set up the series, because I was brought in as part of the team to set up the whole show. So when my contract went out on that, we went back for the pilot night, the launch night of the show. We went back and we had champagne and everything in Jane's office, all the team, one last time together. And Jane asked me if I would go back and work on Games World. But I didn't really tell Paragon I was going to go work for them. I had the itch to go back into magazines. I missed writing. And she offered me a chance to be a presenter on the first season of Games World. And I can't remember what it was called, but it was going to be an evening where you had three different people all solving problems in video games. So you were like disc doctors. I can't remember what it was going to be called, what the angle of the show was going to be called. And I turned it down because I didn't want to be on screen with 3 other people. I wanted to be a presenter. Not a co-presenter, I wanted to be a presenter. I wanted my own show. So I said no. So then later that year, the people from Games World wanted to put on a show whereby they got all the best players from all the best magazines in the country, and they had a live challenge on Sky, because that hadn't been done before. Not in this country anyway, not professional gamers. So I agreed to do that. So I went back and I beat all the guys on the other magazines and became the UK magazine champion. And then at the end of that season, Jane asked me again if I would come and work on the show. At which point I thought, shit, I've got to do this, because I can't say if I say no twice, I'm not gonna get another bite at this cherry. So, but I've got to do this. but I want it on my terms as well, so I had to play it very carefully. And luckily, what had happened was they decided the Eliminator, the championship, the Games World was based around 2 championships where you had 8 kids play against each other one night, 8 kids play against each other another night, and then the 2 winners play on the Friday in a big final, and they play the Videators. And so she needed a presenter for the Wednesday show, so it was my own presenting slot. So I was given a presenter's contract. So I went up and did that, took that on, and then I did that for season 2, then the whole of season 3, and then we didn't know if it's coming back or not. And then in 97, 98, it got recommissioned by Sky, but this time it was only a 15-minute show. I think it was 1 day a week, or if it was every day, it was only 15 minutes anyway. It was on some really poor time slot, and the guts was just ripped out of it. Games World had always been very, very quirky, or post-apocalyptic, or apocalyptic, and it had cyber, punks on it and everything. It was very, very cool and edgy. Games World 4 had like Inca guards set up in a tropical forest, and a dog would bring the challenge in his bone. And it just, I was like, no.
Yeah, just
I'm done. And a lot of the people behind the scenes there had been behind the scenes of the last couple of seasons of Gamesmaster, so I already had minimal respect for them. So all in all, I was done. I was enjoying it, but to a point, and then I just thought, you know what, the magic's gone. And I hold out to this day that from that moment, not a decent video games TV show was made. I think it all died from there. It all died from Gamesmaster 7. Gamesmaster Season 7 was appalling. And from that moment on, I don't think a decent video game show was made. I don't know why.
No, I know.
We made such good progress.
Yeah, and then it all just kind of stopped suddenly, kind of 90, the beginning of the noughties. Strange.
Let me tell you something. Okay, when I set out to do what I did, my goal was always to make video gaming as big in the mainstream media as the movies and as the record industry, because right there at the start I saw it coming. I saw the cultural phenomenon that was the video game industry, but it became apparent to me very early on the video games industry was never going to be as respected as the record industry or the movie industry until it had real life personalities and stars, if you like, that the mainstream media could go to. The problem is the movie industry has got Scarlett Johansson and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone. The music industry has got Paul McCartney or Marilyn Manson or Adele. It's got real people it can go to get a story. Yeah. When a story happens in the games industry, they can't interview Madonna. Lara Croft. They can't interview Sonic. They can't interview Mario. So and they didn't understand us. So until you tangibly gave them some go-to guys in the real world, it was never going to happen. And so I was slowly getting inches in the newspapers. The Daily Mirror was flying me up to Old Trafford to pose with the Man United players. The Independent was doing big articles on me. Company Magazine was voting me one of the 50 most eligible bachelors in the country. And all these things were happening. And it wasn't happening to anyone else. And it never happened to anyone else in the games industry before. So I was making it happen, thinking everyone else would come with me and we'd all have a great time. But I think people got jealous. And what happened is, the games industry now is bigger than some of the other industries. Some of these games are huge. But you've got name one GameStar. I'll tell you what you've got. You've got Formula One racing, but no drivers. How could Formula One racing become what it is now, if the sponsor had no one to latch onto? Because it's the celebrities, the drivers. People used to say to me, "You've got an ego. Why are you getting all the publicity? Why are you getting?" It's the programmers that do all the hard work. They're the geniuses. It's like, yeah, but in Formula One, it's the engineers that make the great cars, but no one wants to interview the engineers.
Yeah.
I'm a driver, and the games industry needs drivers. And until it's got drivers, all it's going to have is 20 cars lined up, and you can't interview the cars.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you kind of picked up. You saw a gap in the market, and you picked up the baton and you ran with it, and you're hoping that people were going to try and come along with it. Come on, guys, let's try and make this.
I thought I'd just be the first. I thought there'd be great guys come out.
And there was nobody else. There was nobody else like you. I mean, I suppose you could say Dominic Diamond was well known because he was in Gamesmaster, but you know, he was just a presenter. There was nobody else, and yeah, so you tried to kind of bring this to the fore, and it never happened. And I think, like what we're saying at the very, very start of the interview, when people start getting success, then and other people don't have it, then there's jealousy and look at him, who does he think he is, sort of thing, you know.
Barrel of crabs.
Yeah, aye, exactly. Barrel of crabs. I know.
Why don't we all climb out of the barrel? Why are we trying to pull the guy who's getting out of the barrel back? You know, let's all climb out of the barrel.
Even though that crab that's getting out is trying to pull somebody else up with him,
yeah,
just get dragged back in again. I know. So obviously, in fact, I've actually read. I'm sure the video games industry is bigger than the music and film industry put together. I've heard that. I don't know.
I've heard those statistics. But you imagine if you're a magazine editor or a documentary maker or a film editor, and you want to do something on the video games industry, who are you going to?
Yeah.
Who are the video? How can this industry have become this big, but still be this underground?
There's no face. There is no face.
No.
People.
Why isn't there?
Yeah. If you said to somebody in the street, name a video game, they'll say Pac-Man, Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog. That's not a real person.
Yeah.
Not a real person.
Name a celebrity video gamer. O'Brien, whatever he's called, does go 8-bit.
I was just going to mention that's my very next question. I mean, given the size of the industry, I think it is incredible that for the last, since 1998, we've never had a TV program. Now, some people would say, well, we've got YouTube, and I've got my own through YouTube, I'm allowed to live my own wee dream and have my own wee videos and have my own people who watch it. But there's still, I would still watch a TV program that came on every Thursday if it was about video games, especially maybe older video games, which maybe wouldn't be relevant because it's only old people like ourselves that are interested in them. But I think it's incredible that we've never had, there's never been somebody willing to actually. Is it because they've been too scared? Is it because they don't understand the industry, or is it because they think it's for kids? Why would we want to invest money? Why would the BBC not want to invest money in a new TV program all about video games?
I don't get it, because back in the early days when we set it up, they definitely didn't understand it, and the other problem the shows had was a problem of where they were positioned. In that, generally a TV show, when it comes out, a big part of the thinking behind it is what advertising, sponsorship and marketing you can bring in around the show, because that makes money for the channel. Okay, they invest the money, they pay for the show, they want the money back, they get it from, if you're ITV, if you're not the BBC, then you need the advertising revenue, that's where your money's coming from. Now, back in the day, that was a problem, because they didn't understand it. They didn't understand the marketplace. They didn't understand the show. But we got them done. Nowadays, it's not a problem, because not only is the industry worth billions, but the audience that we cultivated at the start of the 90s, Gamesmaster, Games World, and the Violet Lynn show, I forget what it's called.
Influence.
Yeah, Bad Influence.
Baggy shite.
They're all now adults, and they got jobs, and they're the people with disposable income, and they are the perfect people to sell to, and they're still playing games. The market is there now. Why they don't make a show about it, I don't know. Maybe they feel too threatened by YouTube and the internet. Everything is so quick, isn't it? Maybe they just don't feel they can compete.
I can kind of get that argument based on magazines. Why would you wait 30 days to get a magazine to read a review when I can just go into Twitch or YouTube and actually see somebody playing the game? but not so much for TV programs. I don't know. I mean, you mentioned that Go 8-Bit with Darryl O'Brien. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Thank you.
Have you watched that before? Have you seen it?
I've watched it a couple of times.
Yeah,
it wasn't as bad as everyone made out.
I don't know. I kind of felt there was almost like an underlying element of kind of mocking it, sort of.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just me. I don't know, and that annoys me because
Well, I think that was the danger with Gamesmaster in the end. I think that show was going that way as well. And then I think as well when you got the Games World and we've got Inca guards stood in the jungle, it's all kind of like. The market is more sophisticated than that, and the thing with the Games World is it's full of big-headed, egotistical man-children, and they want to show off. And they get to show off. You got your FIFA champions worth millions here, and you got your Fortnite guys worth this amount of money and all that. But unless you're actually playing those games, you don't know who they are. I'm Dave Perry. I'm the game animal. I've done all these TV shows. People know who I am. But you walk down the 10 most famous gamers in the world, or the richest gamers in the world, down my high street today. I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The money they're earning and the prowess they have.
You don't know who they are. Aye.
Why does? Because the mainstream doesn't accept them. Because they don't enter the mainstream, which is the important thing that I thought we needed to do in the 90s. So if you could set up a show where these guys could come out of their internet world,
their bedroom,
wilderness almost, and come onto the show and show us all what they can do, these guys can go next level. They can really get that proper fame. Because internet fame is like a selfie compared to a famous artist painting a portrait of you. Do you know what I mean? Because it took nothing for that picture for that show to appear, that picture to appear. All you had to do was point a camera at yourself. It's you didn't earn it. Anyone can do it. But a TV show, it's still got that gravitas. It still would have it. And it'd be massive, wouldn't it, if you pitched it right at the right time?
I mean, games is so massive even now, probably more so than it was when we were playing them. And yet, I don't know why. I have absolutely no idea why it's never been picked up. I mean, even I'm not bigging myself up. I'm an old guy, but I have got a fantastic knowledge of the early days, and I've got a thing called the Friday Waffle every Friday. I just basically sit in front of that and I just talk pish. That's in my words. But people enjoy listening. People maybe who weren't around at the days. I mean, I could look upon me as more a historian of gaming. When I'm long gone to the great arcade in the sky, there's about 250 hours of me just talking about the industries, and I think there's genuinely a slot on you and I on BBC Two somewhere. But I don't know why. Were you ever actually produced? Were you ever actually approached to front a TV program then, Dave?
A few times. I've screen tested for a bunch of shows in the past. I even screen tested for The Word back in the day as well.
Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah, I lost to Hufty. The little.
Yeah, who was Hufty again?
Yeah, I lost to her. But I've been approached a few times by some major companies who have asked me if I would consider fronting a gaming show. Or a few of them have looked at bringing back Gamesmaster, and they've asked me if I would consider being involved with it again. And I've always said, yeah, of course, because that's where my passion is. That's where my heart's at. I would love, I helped to bring the country its first decent video gaming show. I'd love now, in my later years, to be able to bring another one out. Bring the next generation one out, and then maybe move on and leave it in good hands. It'd be great to do it because it's the opportunity is there. There is no reason not to do it. There's no reason why we need 10,000 cookery shows and not a video game show. I mean, they must have run out by now of celebrity reality shows. Do you know what I mean? Of concepts for it. Let's do a celebrity reality video game show. Do you know what I mean? They can put they can put their second-rate stand-up comics on it and their YouTubers and all the other trash they dig out for celebrity shows these days. You know, but let's make it about video games, and you know, let's get our hobby back out there. I would love it.
Watching this, get in touch.
Oh, I hate that we're still in the bedroom.
Yeah.
We're still in the bedroom. We started in the bedroom. We popped our heads above the parapet. We looked at the real world, and then we shut ourselves and ran back to our bedrooms. And I hate it. We're better than that. We're better than that.
Do you almost feel that? And I'm not, you know, that you tried to. It's like somebody standing up in a room, and you start singing, and you're like, come on, join in with me,
Yeah.
You kind of tried to raise the profile of games, and now that you've kind of retired, it's just kind of with the back down again. Yeah.
I feel that completely. And I had a lovely moment at that revival event, and I went on stage and did a Street Fighter challenge. And I brought a bandana with me. I've not been wearing a bandana all day, and I put the bandana on. And so many people queued up for selfies afterwards and told me how much it meant to them. They saw me on the stage with the bandana doing the Street Fighter commentary, and like I was on Gamesmaster. And I just thought, that's lovely because it was iconic. But I can't be the only one, you know. Other people should have done it. They should have done it, you know. Some other people should have done it. They all seem to have abandoned it, and it's a shame. Like you say, Dominic's big, but he was the presenter of the show, wasn't he? And I don't think he ever really wanted to be totally associated with the games industry. I think, you know, his talents and his interests lie beyond. But beyond that, there is.
The thing for me is, I mean, there's you know, sort of YouTube channels with gaming are 10 a penny. But you know, 99% of them you watch it, and I'm like, after 30 seconds, I'm bored. I think you need to have a bit of personality. You need to be likable as well, and you would need that for something like that.
But they don't know. They're all arch narcissists, aren't they? A lot of them are socially maladjusted. They think if they put a camera at themselves, it gives them instant personality. I mean, here's my impression of a YouTuber. Imagine this is a video game, okay? Yeah. Ooh! Banjo and Kazooie tonight. You know what the fuck? You know, who cares? Just because you just because you gurn and point a finger at a games cartridge, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean you've got personality.
I've got you need to watch it. I don't know if you've subscribed to my YouTube channel. I've got a feature called Mainmeister's Minimalistic Reviews. And it starts off with like is it Sepultura? It's thrash metal, and it's like me black and white. And then I hold up a game, and it's like I can't remember what the game it was, Call of Duty, and I'm like, what was it? Commando with pish graphics, and that is it. That is the review. It's like 10 seconds, and the number of people that go down thumb, and I thought you fucking totally don't get the point if it's a mistake. It's just a bit of fun, you know what I mean? But
well, I enjoyed. I don't know if you watched a lot of my YouTubes.
I think I've watched them all. Yeah,
I've only done 4. They're too long and they're waffly. But the first couple, I shot in 480, I think, on an old camera from the 90s that I had, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't think any of this stuff was important. I thought the message and what I was telling was going to be more important than how I did it. But I did it in the old format because it had authenticity. But all these alleged retro gaming fans and retro fans that wanted the information and wanted to tell me what great retro fans they were hating the fact that it was shot in 480. It's like. But that's the format. That's what we were shooting things in. You know, that's what home videos were shot in at the time when these games were out. This is how things looked. Oh, I'm a retro. I like my retro gaming. Oh, that's not in 1080. That's not high definition. It's fucking retro. What aren't you getting about retro?
That's the same with me. I mean, my what's the word for it? My production values are absolutely shit. I mean, sometimes I don't fully. I've only been doing it for like 6 years. I've done about 1,400 videos. I mean, I don't do as many now, but I still do maybe 2 or 3 a week. But you know, I'll upload a video, and then somebody will go, "Oh, you've uploaded it in 380 or 360," and I'm like, I don't know. What are you telling me for? I have no idea. But to me, it's about the content. It's got nothing to do. It's got nothing to do with how you got all these fancy channels, all these different screen filters, and then when you actually once you get past the 45-second intro, you realise, Christ Almighty, that is it, and you switch it off because it's shit. The guy's got no passion. Whereas I'm enthusiastic about. I can talk for an hour to a camera with nobody around me, like you did the other day there, and because you're genuinely interested in your sort of subject matter.
Yeah, definitely. I can't get over these guys. They just want to sit there and pick fault and moan. I mean, does it make them feel better about themselves? I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to win awards. I'd hire a professional film crew if I was trying to win awards. I'm not good at this. I'm pointing a camera at myself and I'm telling you some stuff from back in the day because I was actually fucking there. Do you know what I mean? Now listen and stop looking at the updates on the update fucking pixels on the screen or whatever it is. Fucking, give me your thumbs down. I'll give you 2 fingers.
So what do your kids make of their dad then? Are they aware of your fame back in the day and that? What do they sort of make of it, or like oh dad?
My wife hates it. My daughter, she's all right with it. She's cool with it. Yeah, she thinks it's quite cool. I did some different things back in the day. I don't think that it really matters to her that much. I don't think really gets to that much. She was in university in an IT class, doing her degree, and she had to write something. She wrote something about her dad and what he did back in the day, and her IT teacher just lost his mind. Apparently, he was very excited because she was the daughter of the games animal. Dave Ferry, the games animal.
Did you remember?
Yeah, you remember watching the show back in the day. So every now and then little things like that happen. I think she quite enjoyed a little bit, but I don't think it really. It's just dad, isn't it?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Going off.
Brilliant. Obviously, you were the self-proclaimed sort of best video games player. Was it UK or the world, Dave? What did you kind of?
I left it at the UK because the world is a bit of a big boast.
Yeah,
but the UK. I mean, at the time I was travelling all over the country and I was giving everybody a chance to come and have a go at me. There's no internet back then, so if you're going to put that boast out there and you're going to go out and give everybody a chance, then fair dues. I beat all the guys on Games World, didn't I, when the time came along? And I used to, in my magazines, I used to challenge the Softco's best players to come down and play me. That was in Mega Power magazine. I used to do that. So I used to put it out there. Of course I did, but it's all very much WWF at the time. Hulk Hogan and all those guys, Ultimate Warrior and Randy Macho Man Savage or whatever. All those guys. I used to admire those guys and that way of selling yourself and being that bigger than
life character. Yeah, and
that was it. And when you're going to be that guy, you got to make some boasts. Is it true? Isn't it true? What does it matter? Come and find out.
That's what I always think. I mean, I've mates I'll maybe talk about. I don't know, like Muhammad Ali. I mean, Muhammad Ali was one of my heroes. And thought, he was arrogant, he was big-headed. I says, you know what? Somebody who, boasts about having money is a wanker as far as I'm concerned. But somebody who says, I'm the best, I'm the best player at Street Fighter. If you're making a boast and then putting yourself out there, then fair play to you. It's the same with Eric Bristol. He was an arrogant shit, but I loved him. I loved his arrogance. And if you want to be the best, you've got to have that self-belief. If you go in and I think I might beat you. You've got no chance, and it's there's people mistake arrogance for confidence, and I think something like that. You were this character, and you were trying to obviously bring the sort of pull the video games industry up into sort of mainstream and create a bit of excitement because that was completely lacking.
Yeah, and get a bit of interest. Like I was saying, I was trying to be a character that the mainstream media could latch onto and would notice. If I sat there writing being a humble guy, It's the same as the other 100 journalists that were writing and being humble guys on the magazines. There's nothing for anyone to latch onto. You don't get noticed. You've got to do what it takes to get noticed.
Yeah.
But you've got to be prepared to put up with what you get for being noticed. You know, you've got to stick your head above the trenches. You're going to get shot at. And I took a lot of bullets. You know, but you've got to you got to put it out there and back it up. And I did for years. I travelled all over the place. I did the TV shows. You know. You just gotta, I don't know, just live a life less ordinary.
Yeah. Nah, completely. Your gaming skills, would you say, were you kind of naturally adept at playing games, or was it purely just because you played a lot of them, you got good? Did you think you had a natural talent for them?
I think it was Gary Player, the golfer, who once said, ultimately, it all comes down to luck, but the more you practice, the more you end up where luck can find you. And I think that there's an element of that, you know. I think you have to be naturally fairly good at something to be exceptional at it, but you've got to put the hard work in. I mean, at the end of the day, back in the 90s, I would play for 4 to 5 hours a night, like an athlete. I thought of myself as an athlete. I'd have my dinner, and instead of sitting down and watching telly, I'd go to my games room
and just play.
And I would play. And I would have to play on the games that I knew I'd be challenged on. I couldn't play on the games I definitely wanted to play. I could occasionally, but generally I'd have to play on Shadow Fighter because I was going to do a challenge in Sheffield, or I'd have to play on Eternal Champions because I was going to do a challenge in London or something, whatever. And I'd be playing, and I'd know that on that day 100 to 200 people were going to turn up and try and play against me. And for every 20 people I beat, the one guy who took a round off me, that'd be the only round anyone would remember. So you want to lose less rounds, you know, because you want to remember the good stuff, not the bad stuff. People always remember the guy that beat you. They don't remember the other guys that are sitting crying at the other side of the room.
I mean, I have one of my sort of best mates, Andrew Lowe. I don't know if you know Andrew. He worked on a lot of early. Well, he worked on Superplay. He worked on the Gamesmaster magazine. He was also the Total. Do you know Andrew?
I know that. I recognise the name. I don't know him.
He's now an author, but he was like deputy editor on Total Film. But he is. I've never seen a guy who is so adept at. I mean, I've written here he's a ninja at every video game, and I shit you not. Even stuff like, and it's not through just practice. Even things like I remember he told me a cracking story. It was Virtua Tennis had just been released on the Dreamcast, and he worked on, I don't know what magazine he was working on, and the guys from whatever it was, Dreamcast magazine, said, "Oh, you need to come over here. We're having a release party for Virtua Tennis." He'd never played the game before, and they were going, "Oh, we're a brilliant game," and they had a competition, and he said he never lost a single point, and they were so pissed off. And I said to him, I says, "Why?" I mean, I've seen him. I've been down to Arcade Club. I know you've been down there, and I've sat next to him, and he'll put like 1.5 million in Robotron, 350,000 in Galaxian. Doesn't matter what game he plays, he's just good at it. And what he said to me was, I was down in Bury, and we were in the having a bit of breakfast the following morning, and I was asking him that, and he said, "I'm talking to you just now, and I can hear the two guys in the corner what they're saying, and I can hear that guy over there telling his mum that he's going to be coming up late." And I says, "What do you mean?" He says, he's just got this really good spatial self-awareness. He's able to sort of look at things in a really large scale, and he says, when he puts that into a video game, he's able to not just playing Robotron. He's not just looking at the character. He's able to see the whole screen. And he says that for whatever reason, that just makes him really, really good at video games. So he's just a freak of nature, you know what I mean? But it's. I was doing it. I was doing it.
Very good.
What's that?
And I had very, very good reactions, very good reflexes.
So Twitch, that's what it's all about. Yeah, Twitch reactions, really. Yeah.
It is. I always had them, but as I developed, when I was in my Mega Power days, I used to call myself the Kid, Dave the Kid Perry, because I was young, and also because my nom de plume, if you like, had been Kid Westworld when I'd started writing, so I could get paid double by magazines because I could write under 2 different names. So when I through the Kid, I then became the Games Animal, because one day I used to be almost unbeatable at NHL '93 by EAA, and I would take on all comers in the offices on that. And one day I was walking down towards the thing, and it was like NHL, who's going to play me NHL? And I love Public Image. Oh, Public Image and Public Enemy. Did love Public Image, but Public Enemy it was. And there's a song I've been playing off Fear of the Black Planet, Bring the Noise. Once again, back it's the incredible Brian Animal, the incredible D. And so I walked down the office going, once again, back it's the incredible Games Animal, the unstoppable me. And that was what I did, and that just stuck. And because it was such a crap and naff thing, this boastful thing to say, of course everyone in the office just reminded me then that I'd called myself the unstoppable Games Animal, you know, and so I went with it, I kept it. And but that gives you, that character that I grew, that helps you when you're getting competitive, because you can put on that persona and put on the bandana, and people were already wary of you by the time you start playing. No matter how confident they were in the queue, by the time they got on the machine against you, they were already expecting you to be some kind of superhuman, so they were extra cautious or whatever. So the bravado gives you an extra 0.5 of a second or something on a beat 'em up, you know. Whilst they're wondering what your first move's going to be, you've already landed it in your second, you know. So it worked to my advantage.
Have you seen the video? There's a video on YouTube, and I think it's about Street Fighter 2, and it was obviously filmed in Japan somewhere, and there's like, I don't know, 10,000 people in the audience, and this guy was playing as Chung Li. What's she called? Chung Li. Get my words out. And this guy was playing as Chung Li, and somebody else was playing as Ken, I think it was. And Chung Li was down to the last shred of energy, and then I think this person like launched, it was like a multiple attack, and they slowed it up, and like Chung Li managed to like block something like 10 moves in a split second, and then went on to win, and the place went in an absolute uproar.
Wow.
Now, to a person like myself, I think, well, you know, what was the skill in that? But the actual skill it took, you'd be able to relate to it. The skill that guy showed to be able to block, bang, 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 and then win was just incredible.
Keeping your nerve and pulling off those moves at just that right moment.
Yeah.
I mean, Street Fighter for me is the purest of all games. It's just pure because there's so few moves in it. There's enough moves in it, but there's so few moves in it that the human element becomes a very important part of the gaming experience. You know, it's not like you get on Killer Instinct and later on some of the Tekken games where you got to memorize a 16 button press and all this, and the other guy's just got to stand there and take the hits until that changes. You know? Like, with Street Fighter, you can pretty much break or counter everything, and there's not so much that you can't forget that you will forget where everything is. What it becomes about is the two humans that are taking part in the battle. It becomes about strategy and patience and perfect timing, you know, and it's a pure game because of that. Because it's not about the graphics. I've been playing what I've been playing today, God of War, you know, on PS4. Lovely game. Enjoying watching it. But I'm enjoying watching it. Do you know what I mean? It's just so many of these games now. There's so much in the graphics and the moves and the wow factor of what's happening on the screen that actually you suddenly realise you're not actually doing a lot. You know, in the moment with your hands. Yeah. Once you've instigated, you're sitting back and watching it. It's like, how about staying in the? You know, you've got to stay in the game.
Ricky Gervais described the Marvel films, or was it somebody else? I can't remember who it was, as being like in a theme ride in Hollywood, Orlando, Florida, and some of these modern games now. I mean, I've actually done a few videos where I'm playing like I don't know, Sonic Adventure, whatever the hell it is, and I'm not even looking. I'm just holding the gamepad forwards and just going like that, and I'm like, oh, I'm on to level 2. Oh, I'm on to level 3, and there's. I mean, here's the thing. I always think to myself. I mean, I don't play. There's very few modern games I play, and you'll never ever say to somebody, oh, I need to phone you, I've just completed Call of Duty, and you're never going to say to the person, oh, brilliant, I can't wait to tell my mates that you've completed that. If I put 500,000 on Robotron, I'd be on the phone to my mates for posting it on Facebook. I've just put 500,000, and people will respect you because you've put a good score on an arcade machine. They'll never say, "Oh, I just heard that Dave just completed Call of Duty." Who gives a shit? Because it's very passive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just along for the ride in a lot of these games now.
I don't think that. Maybe I'm just being old and grumpy, but I don't think there's the same skill.
Now we're entitled. We're entitled to be old and grumpy. We've got it, haven't we? You know?
So obviously, Dave, I'm sure you'd be the first to agree that your sort of self-confidence and willingness to tell people just how good you were, that obviously didn't endear you to everyone. Did that bother you, that side of it? I mean, you said obviously towards the end of kind of the games thing, but the negativity started to kind of wear you down.
Yeah. I did. Obviously, I knew the game I was playing and the way I was acting. I knew what I wanted out of it, and I knew it was going to upset people. But I didn't give a shit along the way because I knew I had to do it to become what I wanted to become and to do what I wanted to try and do within the games world and for the games world. What I resented was, I think, people not understanding the potential of what I was doing and how I was trying to do it for all of them. Do you know what I mean? How, I wanted to be famous. Yeah, I was hoping I was going to get rich out of it, but I wanted the same to happen to them. I thought we'd have this great, this group of really high-profile gaming personalities, which would be absolutely marvelous. What I didn't like was the lack of respect and the dishonesty that would go on with people when people try and snipe you, really, and try and bring you down, behind your back a little bit, and that kind of thing was a shame. But I think I was naive. I think if you're going to be that guy, you've got to expect, people to turn against you. Really, I think I just expected people to rise. Not so many people just to try and pull me back.
I think in a far smaller way. I mean, I've been doing YouTube for about 6 years, and I've had people saying, you're such a stupid arsehole, you Scottish twat, and I'm thinking, really? Right? People just post hatred about you just because they can.
They do.
They obviously get 5 seconds of thrill out of being nasty. I mean, when I happened to mention to one person at work that I had a YouTube channel, and I said, look, do me a favour, don't mention it to anybody, because some people would think that a 50-year-old guy playing video games and, God forbid, making videos about it is quite weird. And then about a month later, one of the managers phoned me, and they called me, "Oh, how you doing, mate, Meister?" And I'm like, how did you hear that? And he said, "Oh, you've got a YouTube channel." And then I got about 3 or 4 text messages from engineers. "Oh, Mr. Pac-Man," and it wasn't in a nice way. And a bit like yourself with Gamesmaster, I just thought, fuck this. And I actually took my YouTube channel down. And I thought, look. And then people were like, "Why have you done that? Why have you done that?" I said, "Because I don't want people making a fool of me." And he says, "You know what? See these people? Tell them to go F themselves." He says, What do they do? What do they do? It says you're making videos for no money. It says you're making content which makes a lot of people happy. It says, how many other people can say that? And they're like, fuck them. So one of my mates very kindly had a big YouTube channel at the time. He put out a lot of shout outs, and I got my channel back up again, and I've never looked back since. And I even posted I've got my main Meister Facebook page, which I tend to keep for like video games, and I've got my Alan Stewart one, which is my personal stuff. I even put a post on my Alan Stewart one, says, as you know, I like to do a lot of running. I also like to play video games. Here's a YouTube channel that I've got. And I had a Christmas night out a few weeks later, and some of the directors were coming up to me, "Oh, I saw that thing you posted on Facebook. That's bloody brilliant. I remember playing Pac-Man and Donkey Kong, and I watched that video of you doing that." And I thought, you know what, people, there's this people who are out, it's sheer jealousy and they just want to be nasty because it makes them feel slightly better. And
I tell you what, mate, the internet is the 21st century's version of road rage.
What's that, Dave? Sorry.
The internet is the 21st century's version of road rage. That's all it is. The other side of the screen, they'll type and say things they would never say ever in front of you. Same as when someone's in a car and you go, oh, get over anything. Because they're in the car. If you stop your car and come out to their windscreen, they ain't going to talk to you like that.
Exactly.
You know, it's the same as on the internet. But you mustn't let them grind you down. You must do what makes you happy.
You know what? Here I am. I used to sit and watch Gamesmaster, and here I am. I'm getting to talk to a guy that I really respect. And how would this come about other than through the internet?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So absolutely fantastic.
Good, but mate, I got to go in a minute. So you.
Okay, right. Listen, I've literally got about 10 other questions. Let me see. Right, we've already done that one. I can't not mention it. One of the top 10 most eligible bachelors in the UK. Did you take that seriously, and what did your mates think of it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I took it seriously. I had to go up to London and do a photo shoot for the magazine and everything. Yeah, I loved that. At the time, I wasn't a bachelor. I was living with someone, but she wasn't too pleased about it. But I went along with it because, I mean, what an honour. What man wouldn't want that?
Absolutely, aye.
And you get sacks full of letters. They encourage the female readers to write to you, so you get tons of letters coming to you from anonymous women for ages.
Double thumbs up.
Yeah, long before the days of the internet. Generally they were prisoners or people from in the forces, but it's still fantastic. You're a young guy, and you get that accolade. It doesn't hurt that all these women think you're hot. So
why not? I know. So you've already mentioned if somebody was to come to you with a large wad of cash and offer you, would you come back and do Gamesmaster? You said you would if things were right. Yeah.
Absolutely, I would. Absolutely.
Yeah. Glad to hear that. And the very, very last question, Dave: Commodore 64 or Spectrum?
Oh. No, I don't know. I know. Commodore 64.
Hey! This is going to influence all the thumbs down or the number of thumbs up.
50-50, wasn't it?
Listen, Dave, I said I was going to keep you for an hour. It's now 2 hours and 7 minutes. So, listen, I just want to say to you, thanks very, very much for taking time to talk to me. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm quite sure that all the viewers are going to enjoy it. I will get in touch, reference the Raspberry Pi, and if you ever fancy getting a wee collab or anything at all, Dave, give me a shout, and I will put a link to Dave's channel down below the Games Animal.
Thank you, buddy.
Finally, thanks, Dave.
Cheers, mate.
Take care, buddy. See you, mate.
See you later.